quick dinner and he's back now. So he and I will take you through to the end of this one.
Yes, very nice it was as well. But this is the main course of the evening, of course, the Snooker here on Table 1. Terry remember need to win this match to reach the playoffs.
47. $53. 54.
Still going to need a couple of reds here. Well, first of all, he needed the pink. He didn't have the ideal angle on the pink, trying to hold for the reds, but missed the pot. So, still 75 on.
I was making the point, Dave, before your arrival that it's been a really strange group for Joe Perry. Started off awfully fragile, then played two solid matches in mid-group, and now seems to be toiling again.
Well, certainly, I mean, we did the match against Ali Carter, which was a real struggle. I don't think you would have said, having watched that, he was the likely group winner. He could get, of course, win the group if he gets in the playoffs, but it all depends on this match. But just the odd error, including that missed pink, contributing to his downfall still.
And the fate of Mark Williams rests in the hands of Mark Selby. And really, in that kind of situation, you couldn't wish for anyone better, because you know that regardless of the fact he might be a little demotivated with the fact he's going to be eliminated from the tournament regardless, he's an absolutely model pro who will play hard until the last ball.
18.
Yeah, and he's opened things up here. 36 behind, but this is shaping up to be a good chance now.
We've already seen one remarkable clearance today. Mark Williams in the second frame against Ali Carter, 73 from 70-0 down.
25.
This wouldn't be quite up there with that one, but it's still a noteworthy effort where the balls were when he came to the table. That said, if he's too straight on the pink, he's got an awful lot of work yet to be done. Cracking pot Just slightly too hard for the blue to middle to go down for the yellow naturally.
$37. $59.
$15, the deficit. That means he needs the lot.
Mark Selby, 39.
Well, it's been the story really for Selby. A lot of chances over the last 2 days in matches and just slightly going wrong at times. You know, you fancy him so strongly normally for clearances, but he's missed the green. So 15 in the frame.
Well, he caught the black there, but just marginally after making contact with the green, and where the green's finished, that's very much a source of relief for Selby. Tense stuff, and although Perry is 15 ahead, look at the balls, you think it might well be a green ball game. thought it was asking a lot, especially using the extended rest and the extension on the cue to cut that one in, and so it's proved.
Well, playing cushion first to get position on the brown, but has missed the green. So Perry, 15 in front, he needs green and brown. Oh dear. Got a bit edgy, Phil.
Well, there was an awful lot of upper body movement there, which is exactly what you don't want to do, and that's why he undercut it so badly. You're right, Dave, that was a terrible delivery of the cue, caused purely and simply by the circumstance.
Barry Hawkins, meanwhile, has gone 2-1 against Ronnie O'Sullivan on table 2. So O'Sullivan won his first 4. Of course, he's going to be in the playoffs, whatever, but he did lose, of course, to Mark Williams, and in danger of losing now to Barry Hawkins.
Sometimes even the finest exponents of this game are overmatched when it comes to trying to get position on a particular colour, and getting from green to brown there was always going to be highly unlikely.
That's Selby 3.
A friendly flick from Perry's perspective. That shot not so friendly.
No, there's no doubt that Perry's feeling it. He, has to win this match to get in the playoffs. It's unusual in snooker where a match is more meaningful to one player than the other.
4.
Because obviously in straight knockout that doesn't apply. So he still needs the 3 colours. You wouldn't necessarily put your house on them getting them, the way this frame's gone either.
Right.
Of Selby's straight queuing. And now he's straight into a 2-0 lead. That's a frame that Joe Perry could easily, you might say, should have won. He didn't. Mark Selby 1 frame away from a victory that would do Mark Williams a massive favour.
new Jaguar F-Pace. Hard to forget.
Fly Audible and travel the world. Listen up and settle back. We've thousands of destinations to explore. Treat your ears to an epic stay beyond the wall. Travel long haul to Mars. It'll take your breath away. How does a city break in friendly Gilead sound? Everyone's welcome. Whether it's a spellbinding trip to Hogwarts or traveling back in time to ancient Greece, we'll get you there in style. There is another way to get away. The difference is audible.
It will be a group of regrets for Mark Selby. As Dave said, he's had his chances. His position in the table actually is completely false, given the way he's queuing.
I was saying though with Dominic, the problem is against this quality of opposition, you've only got to make, you know, one mistake a frame. It'll cost you the frame. Early rounds of a lot of tournaments, you'll get away with those sort of errors, but not in a field like this. Selby has been guilty of just the odd unexpected mistake for whatever reason. Here's another one. So this is a chance for Perry to try and put out of his mind what happened at the end of that second frame. Just pot a few here and try and get back into the groove, as it were.
Selby's lost 3-2 verdicts in this group. Perry would love to think it would be 4.
One. Eight.
That's well done. There was a little bit of frustration, I think, in that. I think he was trying to actually clear the reds away from the black spot on the last shot. He's tied the black up, but he's back in with the red and can continue the break at least.
$14.
Barry Hawkins is going to beat Ronnie O'Sullivan 3-1, so that means, of course, Ali Carter will finish top of the group. $20. $21. $26.
47. $30.
Wanted to screw back just a touch more than that. Having to leave a mid-range red, which could easily be missed, especially using the rest.
36.
Well, that's one of the best shots he's played all day. Beautiful position on the blue. And he knew there that a full ball contact on the pink
42.
would facilitate, and they've split very kindly.
That black's been tied up from very early on. Pink's available though, and he's getting closer to getting his first frame on the board. And a very good contribution, bearing in mind the rather ragged end to frame 2. In a way, it's like a normal snooker match for Joe Perry. If you win, you're through. But the problem is, it's not the same for his opponent, because Mark Selby guaranteed to be out. But that pink should secure him this frame. 2 snookers needed. Nicely on the red as well. So, looks like we're going into at least one
65.
more frame.
66. $72.
A lot more fluency,
72.
less hesitancy from Joe Perry. Nicely done. Keeps his playoff hopes alive. Mark Selby's lead reduced to 2-1. I can tell you the COVID-19 results for the players who enter this event in Group 6. They've all come back negative, which is great news. So, David Gilbert
Perry break off, but again Selby unable to knock it in. I just wonder if Selby maybe has got a little tired. Remember, he played in the shootout 4-day tournament before this week's Championship League. Got to the final of that. Now, okay, they're only 10-minute matches, but it's quite frenetic, it's quite intense. It takes quite a lot out of you, actually, mentally. He had to be up early the next morning to get his next COVID test. I saw him queuing up at 7:30 for that. Straight into 2 days of action, another 2 days here, so maybe it's just hit a bit of a wall, and that might explain just the odd mistake that maybe we wouldn't have seen earlier in the week.
Yes, they're men, not machines, which underlines just how remarkable the consistency and the excellence of Judd Trump this season. Every event, he's there or thereabouts. Look at the cue ball, dead in behind the yellow. Selby snookered on all 15 reds. Now this, if the pack were mainly together, wouldn't be too much of a headache. Now it's a big concern.
And a miss for Joe Perry.
Now that might have been just a little too narrow had he had the pace. So he'll just make a little slight adjustment. Here it comes to extricating himself from this kind of strife.
Towards Joe.
Don't know whether you is well aware of this as well. Selby is just so excellent.
Well, as you said, brilliant. Just a very slight adjustment required. And now this may get a little bit stalematey.
Well, Selby's been involved in one re-rack already today against Barry Hawkins. I think this one will resolve itself though. this an examination of cueing, which, if it comes off, could lead to the frame being won. Didn't he strike that one sweetly? That was beautifully cued.
Well, I'm sure he'd love one last break to just send him off to Leicester in his car this evening, feeling a bit more chipper about things. He's a player who thinks a lot about his performance, thinks a lot about how other people play against him, thinks a lot about all of it. And he'll want to take some sort of positive from this week. Of course, he did get to the final of Group 4, lost out to Trump. It's just faded a little bit in this group, possibly for the reasons I mentioned earlier.
Yeah, I'm not inside Mark Selby's head, but I tell you what, I think he'll gain positives from a technical standpoint. I think he's cueing well. Although that one wasn't cued well. He did that on purpose. He must be able to hear us.
14.
Little red-faced.
Well, thank goodness the red was there to knock the pink in. Joe Perry, I suspect, won't be smiling.
15.
Because, of course, if he loses this frame, it means he can't reach the playoffs, and Mark Williams will be taking that final spot in the semi-finals.
Referee Pellew just asking for a little extra time. Wants to see whether the black will go back on its own spot.
$22.
John Pellew a little less animated than when he took part in the Harlem Shake at the Welsh Open a few years ago with chief ringleader Rob Walker and various others. It's on YouTube if you want to check that out. It was a brief, for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, it was a very brief fad that went round on the internet. Like most internet fads, it was brief.
51. $38. $39.
So what you're saying, Dave, the afternoon session wouldn't be an internet fad because it wasn't brief. Far from it.
No, but they've caught up, haven't they? This has been a quick match and Mark Selby's not too far from winning it, and what it will mean is that Ronnie O'Sullivan will play Kyren Wilson.
46.
And Ali Carter will play Mark Williams if Selby wins this frame now.
$47. $54. $55. $62. $63. $69.
2 balls away. from winning the frame and the match. And then it's just a question of whether he can end his campaign in this season's Championship League with a century break. Very professional display as well, isn't it? You know, in the past, in this situation, we've seen players sort of bash the balls around, but Mark Selby was never going to do that. Not in a million years.
Exactly what I was thinking, Dave. Professional integrity. And something I think Mark Williams will be grateful for. You expect nothing less of someone of Mark Selby's stature. Of course, he's not doing this out of the kindness of his heart. He's playing for £100 a frame. But nevertheless,
56.
He's given this 100%.
Well, of course, it could be worth another £500 because there's another 51 points on here. He's on 93. So 144.
94.
Pip Kyren Wilson's 142. So that will be a great way to finish for Selby. And I'm sure he'll be aware of all that as well. He keeps across these things.
101. 102.
A mistake that really cost him. First up today. The last red. Across this top cushion, not dissimilar to this actually against Barry Hawkins. He missed it. Hawkins cleared to pink to win 3-2.
109.
Will this one find the target?
£110.
Well, it looks as though Kyren's hold on that £500 is going to be brief.
£117. £119. £122.
I did say he was looking for a nice break to end his campaign. You can't really ask for more than the highest of the group, which is what this will be if he pots the last 4 balls. He won't be winning the Championship League this season, but I'm sure we'll see plenty more of Mark Selby in the remainder of the campaign.
£131. £137.
What a way to sign off in any tournament. Mark Selby, stylish, superb. A 144 total clearance, the highest of the group. Okay, he goes home, but he does so with positivity. He has defeated Joe Perry by 3 frames to 1, and that consigns Perry to 5th place. He will remain in the tournament. He's back tomorrow, but he won't be involved in the semi-final playoffs that are coming your way in around 5 minutes' time. So that is the completed table, and it tells us that Ali Carter top of the round robin phase, we'll meet Mark Williams. Ronnie O'Sullivan will take on Kyren Wilson. Quality all the way, and on this table it's going to be O'Sullivan Wilson coming your way shortly. The two semi-finals will begin simultaneously. And just a reminder of who's involved. Joe Perry will be somewhat aggrieved. He's missed out on the playoffs. At least he's got 5th place, having won 1 more frame than Barry Hawkins and lost 2 fewer. Hawkins and Selby go home. It's Carter and Williams in one semi-final. We'll keep you right up to date with that, of course, over on table 2. On table 1, it's Ronnie O'Sullivan against Kyren Wilson.
Wow, you have to go.
Now joining me for this one is Dominic Dale, and I think I'm right in saying that even if it's only the best of 5 frames, what's gone on between O'Sullivan and Wilson recently would suggest to me that Kyren would really want to win this one to make himself feel a whole lot better about playing the game's most famous and most successful player.
Yes, absolutely. Well, Ronnie seems to have struggled a little bit in his last 2 group matches, hasn't performed at his best, and didn't seem to me to be quite as focused as he was yesterday in some of his brilliant performances. But of course it's knockout stages now, it's the semi-finals, so time now to really turn things on, because if you lose now, you're out the event.
Yes, for what it's worth, in the round-robin phase yesterday, O'Sullivan beat Wilson 3-0, aided by breaks of 102 and 76. The referee for this one is Rob Spencer. And we're just about to begin.
First round. Ronnie O'Sullivan to back.
Now normally I'd be saying, well, he played brilliantly yesterday, which he did. Today not so, not the same level of intensity. I'm talking about O'Sullivan, of course. And I would be saying it's hard to switch it back on and off. But with him, he can. He just can.
Yes, and of course there's another train of thought, isn't there? It could be that Ronnie O'Sullivan just wanted to take a bit of a mental breather, knowing that his spot in the semi-finals here was a guarantee. And now he can really refocus and put everything in to what could be 2 remaining matches for him. Kyren Wilson is a player that fights so hard against anybody. Doesn't matter who Kyren Wilson plays, he's there to win. But it's never an easy task when you're up against Ronnie O'Sullivan. Ronnie just coming around to have a look at probably a little quartet of reds just below the main bunch there, because if he plays off the right hand one of that little group of 4, there's a chance he could bring the black into play, which is something he could do with this shot that he's playing here. I think he was hoping to develop the black there, Ronnie. Certainly break builders don't like the high value colours being tied up. Over on table 2, the other semi-finals about to commence. That's between Mark Williams, former 3 times world champion, and Ali Carter, who's about to break off for frame number 1 there. We'll keep you up to speed as to how that match is progressing. So, first opportunity here in this semi-final over on table 1 falls to Kyren Wilson. Just needs one good positional shot initially for a colour. Don't think the pink will pot into the right centre. I think Kyren will be happy enough with that. He wasn't amused when Mark Selby, in the course of his 3-1 victory over Joe Perry, eclipsed his high break and is now the hold of the £500 high break prize for now.
Six. Kyren Wilson 6.
There's no doubt that Kyren could have potted the red to the centre pocket there, but he didn't feel he could possibly get onto a colour, which is why he refused the pot. Another half mistake from Ronnie has left a red this time over the right corner for Kyren, but if it's absolutely dead straight, Kyren will have devil's own job trying to get onto a colour. It's not going to be easy anyway.
One.
But again, he's done quite well there. Does the pink go?
Seven. Eight.
Did well to get the high side of the blue there, Kyren. It wasn't easy. That makes things a lot easier for him. There are an abundance of reds he could play for here. But ultimately, he'd love to try and get that black into play somehow.
$30. $40. $20. Yeah, sure. 20.
He's made of stern stuff. Here's Kyren Wilson. Remember, he was 2-1 down to Joe Perry. Had to win that to seal his place here, and he did. 3-2 he won that match. I think he's one of those players who embraces pressure, doesn't shy away from it.
$27.
Kyren has his very regimented way of going about each shot. His pre-shot routine never changes. Where's the cue ball going here? Well, not into the centre pocket at least, but if he wants to continue the break, he's going to have to play this tough pink. Those are the sort of shots that really do give you a lot of confidence, because perfect cueing is essential to pot a ball like that. And when they go in as sweet as a nut, the way that one did, really does aid confidence.
$35. $40. $42.
Dead straight on the pink is just about alright. Had to force it in to get quite nicely on the next red, and all of a sudden Kyren now is within a couple of reds and colours away from
48.
securing this frame with a decent sized break that will send a message to Ronnie O'Sullivan. If he does continue to make mistakes, he'll be punished for them.
49. $55. $56.
The pink is frame ball. You'll feel a lot more content
62.
if another red goes in, though. That really would seal it.
63.
And now the modus operandi is to chase yet another century.
$69. $70.
This would be his 18th century in the tournament. 18 centuries in a season's half decent. Just look to see whether he could squeeze past the black for the easier red across the top cushion. He can't, so this one is a little fiddly.
$77.
Well, this is good stuff from Kyren, it has to be said. Still difficult task to complete the century
80.
break, particularly now he's very straight on this red. Can't really leave himself the ideal angle on the black. Though he did his best.
Kyren Wilson, 83. On the first strike.
But mistakes from Ronnie O'Sullivan leaving reds to corner pockets eventually allowed Kyren in for that excellent break of 87, and he comfortably wins frame number 1 and takes the lead by 1 frame to 0.
Boring here.
I didn't think the shopping would take that long, I'm sorry. I'm over,
inflict a modicum of revenge here. Started the match well, at excellent 87 in frame 1.
We're not reneging on our promise to tell you what's happening on table 2. The first frame still very much in the balance, although the role of favourites is now Carter's. He's in amongst the balls.
Yes, he's 4 points ahead, Ali, on a break, with 4 reds left. A bit of a scrappy affair. He just leads by 39 points to 35 in frame 1 there, so still some distance left in that frame, you'd think. Ronnie anxious there, because he felt he may have left this red to the right centre. And I'm just wondering whether he has. It's incredible when you play these shots that look rather innocuous. You just can't believe sometimes how you can leave an opportunity for your opponent, but Kyren hasn't taken advantage of it on this particular occasion. One question I'm asking myself, does the red that's next to the black pot into the right corner? I'm pretty certain that it does. Ronnie will be anxious to get on it as soon as he can. Oh, he's overrun this. He needs this to stop quickly. And it hasn't. Oh, that's a poor one from Ronnie's point of view. And he's overhit that by 6 or 7 inches, and he's left the red next to the black on for Kyren, who can cut this in. Very inauspicious start this from O'Sullivan. See how Kyren potted it, what a chance he'd have had. But now Ronnie is in, the best chance he's had to date in this match. Needs to start doing something.
Eight. $60. 70.
On occasion, Ronnie O'Sullivan would have gone into the pack of reds there, but he knows with that little shelf of 3 at the back, they're not
20.
a good pack to go into from the black, so avoided them.
25. $32.
I wonder what angle he has here, Ronnie, on the pink. If If he's almost full ball, he may be able to play a power run through into that little group of 6 reds if he wishes. Doesn't have to, of course, with the 3 remaining loose reds there.
Well, that was unlucky. Just caught the bump of the middle pocket and skewed off. So hard to judge the potting angle when the white and red are so close together, especially when the red's got to go an awfully long way up the table.
My plan of attack here would be to play for the red that's next to the blue into the right centre, get onto the black from it if I could, because if you can then go into the pack of reds from the black, you're guaranteed to have that red that's near the left corner, and all of a sudden this frame could really open up for Kyren. This is the key shot though coming up. He needs to leave that key ball if he can pretty parallel to the black. He's got quite a lot of angle on this red, so he's going to have to kill the pace of the cue ball.
As we strongly suggested he might, Ali Carter has taken the first frame against Mark Williams in the other group semi-final.
Couldn't get on the black the way he wanted to, but still tried to get into that group of 6 and just missed them. When you play with that much power, it's not easy to control sometimes. And yes, he's still on the red to the left corner of course, but the cue will be running dangerously close to that group of reds, and I don't think Kyren can do a lot about it here. But manages to pop the red on the thick side, and the cue ball just slid wide of that little group, so that was handy for Kyren. Now will he risk the yellow coming off 2 cushions into that pack of reds? Big shot this.
Too narrow. And is it right behind the green? To compound the issue.
50.
You see there, as the cue ball was going up the table on the previous shot, had he made a full ball contact with the yellow, you might have had a nice angle on the brown to go into the bunch. Small things make a big difference. Shouldn't be too much of an issue though if he gets the right pace here. Too wide though, I think it's pink if it reaches.
Foul and a miss. Kyren Wilson 15, Ronnie O'Sullivan 4, free ball.
It's a free ball. I don't think...
Yellow ball, thank you.
Well, he can get through to the yellow. Well, it's worth taking on. Or he could even put it safe if he didn't want to take it on. Oh, long way out.
has left a shot to nothing red.
Well, I'm pretty sure that Kyren's mind will be made up here. He can't do anything with that little group of reds around the pink spot. In terms of playing a safety, he'll have to take one on here, I feel. But he does like this sort of shot, Kyren. Beautifully struck, really was. Now, will he go into that little quartet of reds and try to develop them? Just looking, actually, the two reds at the top of that little group below the pink may be a plant to the right hand corner.
He's so proficient with the rest. Has missed a couple today though, unusually. And with the extensions here, and the fact that this red is down the side cushion, don't take this one for granted.
Nine.
If the two reds at the top of that group are not a plant to the right corner, Kyren could play a delicate cannon here to the red directly below the pink, the one furthest right of that group of four, but he's only got half of the red to hit. But they would develop really well if he could play that. Well, got right into them instead, and I don't think it's finished too badly.
60.
He really does get through the ball so nicely. All good bridging, mind you. His thumb was close to those two reds, but not close enough to foul them.
Don't think he's going to be happy though, Phil, with the position here on the blue. I don't think he can just trundle it in and be on a red nicely. He'll have to play this around the angles, I feel. This is a test of cueing. Went in like a bullet. Now how's the pace? Oh, this is looking really good.
He's not a trundler, is he?
20.
I think Kyren would have liked to have been on the pink to left centre, but there's too much angle on it. May have to be the cut back black. He can play it virtually plain ball. He's just got to come past the pink to make sure he's far enough up the table for a red to the same pocket. And this isn't far enough up the table.
30.
Twice in this break he's left delicate shots short. And on this occasion it's full ball snooker on both reds.
Kyren wants some 30.
Kyren will be disappointed if this isn't a snooker. Big target in behind yellow, green and blue. It probably is a snooker, but it could have been a lot more difficult.
Gasp from O'Sullivan.
Guys, please subscribe. If you want to,
Full house there.
if you want to stream for the final, please subscribe.
Eventually the free ball is called.
Might consider asking Ronnie to play from where the cue ball lay now. He's having it replaced. And Ronnie could easily just drop onto the red near the corner pocket. He certainly wouldn't leave Kyren anything easy to go on. I'm not even sure Kyren would risk difficult red, but Ronnie's looking for something better here. This time he does drop onto the red.
Good try, but has that turned the frame?
Ronnie O'Sullivan's making a lot of exclamatory remarks out there. You don't often hear from him.
What a super shot that was. Had to be really fine. The cue ball trapping in the jaws of the yellow pocket had left Wilson reasonably on the blue. The white could have gone anywhere there.
Six.
Behind the remaining red, but he did his best. See, having said that, it's not an easy safety shot to play here. Is he taking? Oh, has he left this for O'Sullivan? Now floating in.
Dom predicts well once more. And all things being equal, it should be equal. Yes.
No.
10 ahead O'Sullivan, just the blue needed. Doesn't miss these in a month of Sundays.
20. 27. 34 on the front. Ronnie O'Sullivan.
That frame could so easily have swung the other way. Remember, Kyren Wilson was in, but off a black, he's remaining reds. Eventually, and did the
Mummy, what's that?
Vitality sent my new Apple Watch. So now, when it's points, it has cool stuff.
At Vitality Health and Life Insurance, we like to share the benefits of healthy living.
Oxygen levels and track my elevation.
So you can get an Apple Watch Series 6 from just £37 with nothing more to pay when you stay active.
Think you lost her at Vitality?
To get your Apple Watch Series 6 with our health and life insurance, just search Vitality.
Oi, what are you playing at, buddy?
I think I've messed up payroll.
Kevin, we've automated their payroll and even calculated their pension contributions. See?
Oh, thanks, teeny tiny hard-nosed QuickBooks people.
Now get out there and show him his boss.
I am the boss.
Come on, Kev.
I am the boss.
There it is, Kevin.
I am the boss.
Oh, Kev.
Payroll is sorted into its QuickBooks.
On the board. Big frame this though, isn't it? Whoever wins it will be within a frame of a place in the final.
And if he did get through, O'Sullivan's legion of fans would be delighted. They'd get the chance to see him again first couple of days in April for the winners group, and for him that would be a big benefit ahead of the World Championship.
And of course, if Ronnie O'Sullivan doesn't prevail here, there'll be an action in tomorrow's Group 6. So we'd still have the pleasure of him for another couple of days.
Which one? This one. That one, yeah.
Kyren asking for the red to be cleaned. So a spot of chalk on it. From a previous kick, perhaps.
O'Sullivan knows what it takes to win one of these groups. He's done so before. In fact, in 2016, the last time the tournament was played down at Crondon Park in Essex, he almost won the overall title. Edged in the winners group final 3-2 by Judd Trump.
Ronnie's shaping up to attempt the red to left corner. Can play for blue or black here.
What?
Oh, he's not badly on the black from a point of view that he can remove the red that's occupying the black spot. I think what he'll try and do here, Ronnie, he may decide to leave the red where it is because the black would have to go somewhere else. Indeed so. Now, does it go on the blue spot? It does, so that's not bad at all for Ronnie. It's still in clear open play. Problem is, Ronnie would probably like to play for the blue next, but he won't now, I don't think. Although saying that, the blue will go, yeah, the blue will go on the black spot, won't it? So, bit of a topsy-turvy start to this frame, really.
40. $22.
Striking through the cue ball. Textbook in how to screw back.
30.
Yes, Ronnie's always had this rhythmical cue action. Hasn't really altered a great deal over the years, but the essence of playing a perfect screw back shot is exactly the same as a topspin shot, except you're striking the ball at 6 o'clock instead of at 12 o'clock.
30.
Could play a cannon into the 4 reds just around the pink there. That would hold him in position for a red into the same pocket as the blue. Forces the cue ball through instead. Bit surprised he played that shot myself. On the red to left centre, but
36.
certainly far from ideal on it.
$37.
Can't really get on any loose reds from where he is now, I don't feel, so I think he'll have to go into the reds. That's finished all right.
40. 45. $50. 50.
That was more cleverly played than it may have at first appeared.
56.
When he went into the reds there, but made sure there wasn't any backspin on the ball. It was a stun shot, so the cue ball didn't really go anywhere once it contacted the reds. That's why he's on this red to left corner nicely. Also has the one to right centre if he wishes. He feels he has a better angle on it. And he's also got another red on, actually, a third red I can see, into the right corner as well, so all kinds of possible options here for Ronnie O'Sullivan.
$57. $60. $65.
Let me quickly tell you, Mark Williams did convert that healthy lead into winning the second frame, so one each over there as well, although it's only going to be one each here for the next few seconds.
73.
Looking good for another century here, Ronnie. I think he's already made 6, is it, Phil?
6 of them, yeah. They all arrived yesterday.
$80. 81.
3 of those centuries were against Mark Selby in the last match last night. 125, 124 and 140. He actually finished that match off with 393 unanswered points. And if he replicates that form for the rest of this evening, you can put him in the winners group now.
Well,
he's certainly begun to spring into action here, Ronnie O'Sullivan.
93.
Didn't do a lot in the opening frame and much of the second frame, but all of a sudden he's looking near his best.
98. 99.
So just this simple pink for century number 7 for Ronnie O'Sullivan in this group. Ronnie's having problems with one of his logos there. It's adhering to his cue in the follow-through. Referee Rob Spencer's given him permission to take it off if necessary.
107.
Yeah, those logo issues are very common. I think Mark Williams suffered yesterday.
110. 114. 190.
Now this is a total clearance to savour. Well, they all are.
125.
But that's the Rocket at his best.
132 in the frame. Ronnie O'Sullivan.
He captures the lead in the match at 2 frames to 1. 1-3-2, pure brilliance. Kyren Wilson, in his last group match, had to come back from 2-1 down to stay in the group to make the playoffs. He finds himself 2-1 adrift again.
Why Vileda? Because when I get home, we like to play crocodile on the floor.
Vileda Turbo Smart removes over 99% of bacteria. Water and dirt go straight in the bucket. Easy to spin. Vileda Turbo Smart.
Try it. You'll see.
And for cleaning without a bucket, use 1-2 spray. Fill the handle and just spray. Say bye-bye to disposable wipes and hello to the reusable 1-2 spray. Vileda. It feels great to feel at home.
High in protein, low in fat. So tasty.
Century of the season, and he's now made more centuries in this group in the last couple of days than in any other tournament he's played in this campaign. Before that it was 6 in the Northern Ireland Open. Unable to sustain the brilliance from the previous frame, mind you. What an opportunity for Wilson. And Wilson's got a little break building stat as well. He's the only player this season to have made at least 1 century in every tournament he's entered.
6. Seven.
Once again at the beginning of a frame, the black is tied up, but there are various ways in which Kyren could try to develop it.
By the way, that last stat, it's open to interpretation because Jed Trump's made centuries in virtually every tournament. In fact, every tournament he's played in. He did enter the Masters, but was unable to play because of that really unfortunate COVID-19 positive test.
Has an angle here, Kyren, to either play for one or two of the reds just above the black, or he could play it with heavy topspin and plough through those reds and try and develop quite a few more, but I never liked that shot because you tend to push balls towards the black and quite often you don't end up on anything. So has played for one of choice of reds around the black spot area. Now can he try to bring the black into play here, or will he try to bring the black into play?
26.
Well, the black will have to either go on its spot if it does go, or as close as possible to it. The key is, does the red next to the black spot still pot into the left corner? Kyren, I think, would already know the answer to that before playing the cannon. My guess is it will still pot, and that's useful for Kyren. It will mean that the black will be in open play very shortly.
Good split.
48.
Yeah, certainly was, Phil, but it's funny when you play that power run through into the cluster of reds there, they all get pushed towards a black spot and you very rarely land on one. In fact, the one he's on here was the one that was detached from those reds.
49.
So the break continues. Can play for the red, probably leftmost here into the corner pocket, run through for the black. That's probably going to be his aim. Oh, short of pace there, Kyren. A long way short of pace. Problem is now in potting the red, he cannot avoid cannoning of the balls. Yeah, he needs to think about this. He's only a few balls away from taking us into a deciding frame, but a mistake here could be very costly.
Is the gap there? Well, he can certainly put the red just to the right of the black.
Yeah, I think he can pot this red. Two ways of playing for the black here. He can play for the black in the same pocket if he wishes, or stun into it and knock it on for the opposite corner. That's what he's chosen to do, but he could have done with that black being another couple of inches off the cushion here. He only needs this black. Does he play for red? Because if he does, it just makes that black a touch more risky. Well, not risky, a touch more difficult, I meant to say. No problem though. So it looks as though we will be heading into a deciding frame. This is good stuff from Kyren Wilson. It's been a good match.
70. 70.
I think considering who was involved on, we didn't expect anything else other than quality
79.
and keenly contested.
$86. $87.
Very different cueists, these two players. Ronnie, very rhythmical, very fluent cueist. Kyren Wilson has worked on his cue action with his coach Barry Stark, and they've formulated this ramrod straight cue action with a very flat trajectory.
He's 18th century of the tournament, just to repeat, 18.
Pockets are big, Phil.
They are for him.
108. $110.
And his production rate of centuries is consistent. He made 5, did Wilson, in Group 4 on Monday and Tuesday. And now he's made 5 in this group.
130. $170. 122.
Anything you can do, I can do just as well. O'Sullivan hits Wilson with a total clearance in the third frame.
128.
Doesn't bother with the black, so no total clearance here. But the main task is complete with aplomb. It is Kyren Wilson 2, Ronnie O'Sullivan 2. A place in the final will go to the winner of our next frame. No one's played more in the Championship League this season than Kyren Wilson. He started off in Group 2, didn't pull up any trees. In fact, he only just sneaked into 5th place on frames 1 over Gary Wilson. So 5th place means he went into Group 3. Did a little better there. In fact, he got to the final, losing 3-0 to John Higgins. As for Group 4, well, that was here a couple of nights ago, and I know, Dom, you commentated on the match between Wilson and Judd Trump. Wilson was brilliant for the first couple of frames. In fact, for the first 2.5 frames. The story of that match, remarkable in many ways. Wilson had breaks of 100 and 121 to lead 2-0. He made 52 to initiate scoring in the third. Mr. Tough Red, Trump cleared up with 69, and then Wilson didn't score in the last couple of frames. It's a tough school.
Yeah, absolutely. Kyren attempted a very tricky red to the yellow pocket to screw back for the black, but he knew even if he did screw back for the black, he'd be leaving Judd an opportunity. And Judd did what world champions and world number ones tend to do. They take those opportunities, those lifelines when given, and he made that terrific clearance and played some scintillating snooker to win the match in the end. So Ronnie O'Sullivan broke off there for a deciding frame here. Not the best break off. Chance of a red here to left corner for Kyren. Can take the cue ball around the back of the black and up the table for a bulk colour. Too thin. Now, will Ronnie take a red on here? I suppose it's better missing those on the thin side. It guarantees that the cue ball runs into bulk. Ronnie could take this red on. He could also, if he wished, play for the black here. Wasn't sure, but maybe Ronnie just wasn't quite straight enough on that red to run through for the black. It would have been in a safe spot then, the cue ball. As it is, the cannon from red to green has given Kyren the first good opportunity here. There is a red just at the bottom of the pack that just pops into this left corner, and Kyren's on it.
Yeah. 50.
Kyren decides to screw off the pack of reds here and take the cue ball up towards the blue. He's just got to be careful he doesn't go in off. Oh, he'll screw off them for the black. Sometimes you just try and deflect the cue ball off the pack of reds to bring a few into play and be on the blue, and that's when sometimes you can go in off in the centre pocket. Deer's there, and it's worked out like a charm. Great chance here for Fred.
30.
Yes, and if he does convert this chance, this will feel good. And I would go as far as to say, Dom, that if he does win the match, I'd make him a big favourite for the final.
I'm inclined to agree with you, Phil, because obviously keeping an eye on table 2 as we are.
38.
Table frame 3, 11-point advantage, and has a chance at the green. So slight favourite at the moment to take the lead over Ali Carter by 2-1 there. But it's been a bit of a scrappy affair, that one. Quite obviously so, I suppose. They haven't played 3 frames yet, whereas we're into the 5th hit on table 1.
$46.
Any interest at all in trying to develop that little group of 5 reds there? He won't need any of them. Already 50 points ahead. Just take the loose reds with colours, that will suffice for him.
55. $62. $63.
Lovely angle on the black. I think Ronnie O'Sullivan will be sitting there thinking, this one has gone against me. After that, it's as nigh on a certainty
70.
as you can have. This is frame and match ball. Every credit to Kyren Wilson. Every credit. I've said it before repeatedly. He's made of the right stuff.
78. $79.
The break goes to 86.
86.
So there's 59 points left.
87.
That's a possible 145, which is 1 point more than Mark Selby's 144, the highest break of the group so far.
94.
Yes, Kyren was watching Mark Selby's effort of 144 in the players' lounge with me and was rather disgruntled to see his then highest break eclipsed. Can he exact revenge here? Well, he can't double the red that's near the centre pocket. Their angle's all wrong. He can still get around the angles of the black here, but had to play it with stun and lots of running side. Great effort. Well, he's on the black. What sort of angle does he have? Well, I think the best he can do here is to try to leave a double on the remaining red.
This would be daylight robbery. What an effort. Just throw in his 19th century of the tournament.
Incredible, isn't it? You know, he's perfect for this double. Oh, a treble. It's in.
111.
If Mark Selby's arrived home by now, he's probably throwing something at the telly.
Still tricky though, isn't it, with the pink there and the blue off its spot as well. The green isn't bad where it is, but the key shot is going from brown to blue correctly to be able to get on the pink. Great stuff, isn't it?
123.
Yes, bear in mind, this afternoon against Joe Perry, he made a 142, did Kyren Wilson. Then the break was snatched away from him.
127.
Now he's 3 balls away from regaining it in scintillating fashion.
Yeah, now, can he play for the pink here into the left centre? Just play this almost plain ball off the Balkan side cushion. That's what he's done.
132.
Oh, he's overrun it. He will not be happy, Kyren, with that at all. You can still get onto the black and still pot the pink, but it's a lot more difficult now.
Kyren Wilson, 132. The crime.
Mark Selby breathes a £500 sigh of relief. But Kyren Wilson has done the main job. The chief priority was to beat Ronnie O'Sullivan, and he's done so in fine style, breaks of 83, 128, and in the frame that mattered most, 132. Congratulations to him. Kyren Wilson is our first finalist in Group 5. But who he will play, that remains a mystery that for the next few moments will be solved in front of our very eyes. Yes, we're going over to table 2 for the remainder of the other semi-final, in which Mark Williams took a scrappy third frame to establish a lead. The standard of this one, nowhere near the standard of Wilson O'Sullivan. Carter won the first frame, primarily due to a 61 break. Williams replied with 65, his best run in the second. And then, as I say, added a scrappy third by potting yellow to blue.